Sarah J with 107.3 KFFM. Very exciting stuff. I have got Matt here from the gang unit in Yakima. Matt, thank you for joining us this afternoon.
You bet, Sarah.
I'd love to know, how did you get involved in this business?
So I first kind of got concerned about gang violence in Yakima back in the 80s when Yakima was kind of a center of drug distribution in the Northwest. But most recently, when Father Greg Boyle of Homeboy Industries came to Yakima about 7 or 8 years ago and spoke, and then a year and a half ago, October, came and spoke again about the work they have done to try to be a resource for people who've been gang affiliated in the Los Angeles basin, and thinking, what can we do here in Yakima? And so a group of us have been meeting since then to try to both support youth and families and kids who are kind of looking at gang involvement, are gang involved, to support them and help them make choices to be healthier and not hurt people.
What are some of the items that come out of these meetings?
Many of the people who are involved in that volunteer effort that I've been involved in have a history of gang affiliation in the past and are recognizing the impact that it's had on them and their families and want to support kids in making positive choices. And so one of the key things is connecting with a caring adult and being there to support them, not being judgmental, and helping lead them to them making choices that are positive for themselves.
So if someone's listening to this right now and they have a child that is going through some struggles right now, possibly showing signs of joining a gang, where do they go first? Who do they contact?
A number of different resources that they can access, both through 211, the community resource line at People for People, and the phone number is just 211.
That's easy.
That's easy, yeah. They just call and say, this is my concern, this is what I need help with, and they can help them connect with a variety of resources. There's probably way too many to mention on the air.
Oh, I'm sure.
But another thing is...
I'll find them, though. We'll find them. Yeah. We'll put them on KFFM.com.
There we go. The other thing is that if parents can share their concerns with their kids in a supportive way, sitting down and having a conversation, I'm seeing these signs and I'm wondering what's going on for you, having an open conversation where they're not saying, gosh darn, you can't do that. Have a conversation with your son or daughter and express your concerns, why you're concerned, what are they thinking, where are they headed, and what's made them lean in that direction, and then see if they can't find supports to help them make other choices.
Can you give us some very obvious signs and maybe some not so obvious signs of a kid who has joined a gang or is going through those motions? Can you tell?
Well, people on the inside know, and
yes.
People in kind of law enforcement know. I'm not all that well versed, but I know that there are associations with colors, both red and blue here in Yakima, that can be a sign that kids are wanting clothing or shoes or whatever in those colors. That can be a sign that they're gang signs. Radio, you can't really show what those look like.
Oh, for sure.
But also who they're hanging out with and who's spending time with and what those kids look like.
Yeah. What age are they starting to dabble in these things?
For many kids, it's a transition that happens in middle school. For some kids, it's earlier, but 6th to 8th grade is commonly the time that kids are looking for a peer group. And it's part of the growing up process where you're looking for peers to hang out with and do fun stuff with, or do, stupid, scary stuff with.
Right.
Because it's exciting.
Right.
At that point, challenges that kids experience in being successful in school are kind of manifesting and coming out. And kids are feeling the pressures of not being liked or being teased or whatever, and so looking for a supportive environment. And sometimes gangs provide that for the short term.
Are there any events coming up that parents could come and speak to the gang unit, or some events we've got in the community for more knowledge on this stuff?
There's the Gang Reduction Intervention Task Force Village, which is the service providers have meetings about every 2 months to kind of learn about each other's resources and how they can partner with each other. It's not really intended to be a parent connecting piece.
Right.
There's going to be a parent support group that's going to be forming probably not until this summer.
Okay.
That's a collaborative effort through the staff of the juvenile court. I don't think it's an official juvenile court activity. The Yakima Police Athletic League and educational advocates at the ESD 105. And that'll be a resource for parents.
Those are really good things to remind people of, because YPAL is obviously affiliated with the police station. And if you're trying to get your kids involved in more activities with other youths, this would be a good spot to maybe ask some questions too. I'm not saying that they can answer all the questions for you.
And they've got some really great programs there, as well as some of the other after-school programs. But YPAL has boxing and wrestling, cheer squad, cooking, kids learning how to be chefs. It's pretty amazing what they've got going on there. Yeah.
So don't get discouraged if your kid seems like, video games is the only thing that they're into. Maybe we can find something else. Well, while I have you here, is there something that you really, really want to get out that maybe we haven't touched on yet?
Well, I think one of the key things for adults, parents, school personnel, people in the community to recognize is that kids succeed when they've got 3 things. 1 is people who believe in them. 2 is a personal connection with a caring adult. That can be a teacher, that can be be a coach, it can be a janitor, it can be a mentor, it can be a program staff person in an after-school program. And when they have a vision for their future, I can be successful as, it's not necessarily having a college degree and being an engineer. It might be I can be successful by completing high school and having a job that uses my talents, and I'm going to learn math so that I can learn how to cut or weld material or cut air conditioning parts or work as a forklift driver in a warehouse. But I can be successful. And when people have that sense of their future, and they call it time traveling to the future, they have stick-to-itiveness, they have hope, and that really makes a difference. And so when we can support kids in those fashions, let them know that they can succeed, be a loving presence in their lives, and not necessarily just loving, but also connection and limit setting and all the rest.
Stability.
That makes a difference. It makes a huge difference. Let's all do it together.
I love that. Thank you so much for coming in. I hope that you're going to come back and you'll spread more information, and we'll put all of this information over at kffm.com. So if you guys have any questions right now that I can, pass along, 972-1073. Thank you again.
Thank you, Sarah.
We'll talk soon.
All right. Bye-bye.